TitleMatchNetwork.com.
If you lost a bar fight, you were fired. That was one of the big ones, brother. It was a tough business back then. That's, not to criticize the guys now, but you guys like Dean Malenko and those boys that walk down, the fans are like, back in the day, the boys would walk down and say, ooh, no, and it's a different deal. If you couldn't, and Watson say, you want to be a wrestler? Well, sign the waiver. Come on up in the ring, brother. Come on right up there, baby. And if you had it, you had it. But usually, 99.5% of the time, I see a lot of boys get stretched in the ring. And back then, they would stretch you. First, Watts would have Doc or somebody go out there and roll around with you for about 20 minutes where you're like, and then Watts would go out there and sugar you and put you down, man. He was a tough, brutal man, but it's a tough, brutal business.
Can you think of an instance where somebody lost a bar fight and was fired?
I think Orndorff maybe in Arkadelphia, Arkansas, I think, yeah. I think he got canned right after that.
So it didn't matter if you're in the middle of a huge push or anything the second?
I don't know, that was always the deal. I think he was probably at the end of his run. It's not that he lost a bar fight. Plus he was way outnumbered too,
Did you know that you were going to end up staying in Mid-South for as long as you did, or were you only... Okay.
And, of course, that was where I got my break. When JYD left and went up to New York, boom, I got the big push, and I was at the top baby face down there.
Yep. What was your initial impressions of Bill Watts?
Bill was a bully, but I got along good with Bill. Bill would, he would pick his shots, and a lot of guys, the Ultimate Warrior, Sting, guys like that. He didn't like the muscle heads. He didn't like the body guys. He liked the big tough guys. He liked Junkyard Dog. He liked Steve Williams. I got along good with him. He liked those kind of raw bone type guys, and that's why I stayed there, because guys would leave, or that's when New York started buying up the talent, and guys, JYD left, Jake left. Jake was a very good friend of mine. Jake's like, you need to make the move. And I'm like, Watts wanted to keep me because everybody was jumping ship, so I was financially rewarded to stay at Mid-South for as long as I did.
Yep. Well, did you have a close relationship with Watts, or was it more like a boss-employee kind of
thing? I've never had any close relationships. It's always been labor management with any boss I've ever had. I always try to keep it that way. Okay, I went from Pensacola, I went to San Antonio to work for Joe Blanchard. Mm-hmm. That's where I became Hacksaw. Started working with Brody and Robley. And of course I was with Robley. Buck Robley was a big influence in my career. I worked for him in Atlanta. I went to Pensacola, he went to San Antonio. He brought me to San Antonio. He left, went to Mid-South, he brought me to Mid-South. So Buck Robley was a big influence in my career.
Okay.
But they just brought me over to San Antonio. They called me, and financially it was a good deal.
TitleMatchNetwork.com